I couldn't get the Rolex GMT Batman, so I'm building one. This is the DIY Watch Club's GMT dive watch with a Pro Tool set that comes in this really nice box that could also be used as a watch box. It's a one-stop shop that really gave me the surface experience of how hard it is to build a watch, but most importantly, the fun that it provides watch lovers like me. So here's everything that's inside the box. I'll be honest, as this is the first time that I'm doing this, seeing all these tools is a little bit intimidating, but you'll also have a step-by-step guide, so let's crack on and have some fun. I think if you're an avid fan of modding watches, or if you've done this a couple of times before, then you can accomplish this project in less than the given time frame to finish it, which is 2 hours. But as for me, it was a fun but excruciating 3 hours of work. The first challenge I faced was removing the crown and stem, and also practicing putting it back just so I know the sensation when it's properly placed in its position. Also, don't try to skip any of the instructions because you might miss little detail like this hour wheel spring, which is installed before the dial. But I would say that the main difficult process if it's your first time handling tiny fragile objects is the watch hand assembly. But as you put one after the other and you get used to the right amount of pressure and movement with your hand, of course it gets easier and extremely satisfying seeing the watch slowly come to life. You'll also receive a pair of each GMT, hour, minute, and second hand in the event that you mess things up. However, if it's the movement that you accidentally damage, then you are doomed. And that's why it's a difficult process if it's your first time. That's why I took all the time I needed to read and watch the guide that's provided, and also took a lot of breaks in between whenever I get frustrated. I don't really know how it took me 3 hours, but it did. Because when I look at it now, it seems a bit absurd taking 3 hours for it, but again, I'm sure when I do this again, it'll be less than 2 hours. And when you see all those hands in place and the movement working its magic, it's definitely worth your time having at least experienced a part of how a watch is made. And now that the hard part is done, you also get cleaning materials like this hand pump or this Rodico clay, which fortunately I did not need to use. Now assembling the case is as satisfying as successfully attaching the watch hands, but you still need to be careful not to rush and damage what you've worked for on the movement. And my favorite and most anticipated part of all these is the GMT bezel, the reason why I particularly chose this watch. Now the question is this worth your time and money? For me, it is. It gave me a better appreciation of at least how hard a watch is made. I think if you are someone who collects watches, you need to have this kind of experience, even just once, but I think I'd do it again, especially now that I have the tools to tinker with watch parts, and most of all, it is fun. Now all I need to do is to adjust the bracelet and we are done. As for its dimension, it is 42mm in diameter, 47.5mm lug to lug, thickness is 14.5mm, 22mm lug width. It is quite heavy at 163 grams with the bracelet adjusted. The lume is surprisingly fantastic. Now let's see how it wears on my 6.5-inch wrist. It is quite huge on my wrist, but I think it's still on the manageable side, mainly for its all black color, and that bezel just completes the mysterious look of the watch. I assembled it and I love it. I would recommend collectors who's got time on their hands to spare and give this DIY watch a try. You can hop on their website as there are multiple watches to choose from, and it's an experience you won't forget.